Hardest friendships to leave aren't always toxic. Sometimes you just realize that you're the only one putting in effort. And that's what we're going to talk about today. Hi guys, welcome to the Finding Us podcast. I'm your host Isabella Cabela, and today we'll be talking about something that I think everyone goes through, but no one really talks about it, and that is one-sided friendships. So I was writing the outline, and then when I was done, I kind of like looked through it and I was like, this isn't really what a one-sided friendship is. I was focusing so much on who texts first, on who likes whose story, on just, those type of actions that are shown online and things like that. And I was focusing so much on that. And then I realized I was like, okay, no. So I deleted the entire outline and I recreated it from scratch with what I think is a way better idea than what I had written before. A lot of my friendships have actually ended because of this. We hear so much about toxic friendships, but we never hear about one-sided friendships. I feel like the reason why no one has created a video talking about that, or no one has really drawn so much attention to it, is because it's such like a confusing topic. Everyone's friendship is different. Everyone acts differently. Everyone's a different type of person, a different type of friend. So it's such a thin line to cross, and I am going to try my best today not to cross that line. So today we're going to talk about one-sided friendships, what you should do if you find yourself in one, and the confusion that people make about it. This is not about keeping score. It's not about every single time that they do something, it's like, okay, so that's strike one, that's strike two, that's strike three. It's not about that. It's more about, okay, this is a pattern that I'm noticing a lot. Like, I'm noticing this pattern so often, and I don't know if this is healthy anymore. Before we actually get into this topic, I want to clarify something. A one-sided friendship is not about who likes whose story, who posts who on their birthday, who texts first, who talks every day. It's not about that. Everyone loves differently. You can ask all of my friends. I am not the type to be texting them all the time. I'm not the type to update them about my life all the time. I'm not that type of person at all. I have a few friendships where we talk every few months, but every single time we talk, it's like we have been together for years and we have never had any distance between us, because we really haven't. Emotionally, there has never been that distance, but physically, maybe. Some people text daily, some people disappear for months, some friendships pick up exactly where they left off. None of that determines whether a friendship is healthy or not. A friendship becomes one-sided when one's care, effort, and emotional support just stops being mutual. It stops being a friendship that both of you guys are putting your care into. It's not about, oh, she didn't tell me happy birthday at 12 a.m., she waited until 2 p.m. It's not about that specifically. It's more about, okay, if I need her, is she gonna be there for me? I'm calling her and she's not there for me when I seriously need her. Actually, a fun fact is a psychologist literally did a study based off of this, and they were just saying that friendships where there's mutual giving and mutual care tend to last longer. What I'm trying to say with this, we don't just want people around us. We want to feel seen and supported and cared for. So story time. I used to live in Dominican Republic. My social life was whack. I didn't know anyone because it was when I first moved. I didn't know anyone. I felt super isolated in the country. It felt like I had no support from anyone. Plus, I was homeschooled, so that added to it as well. Then I joined the sport. I began to know more people. Then I started in-person school, and like that is when my social life actually started to build up. Then I got to a point where, on paper, my social life was perfect. I was going out every single weekend. There was not a weekend where you would not catch me outside somewhere. It just looked like I had amazing friends. It looked like I had the perfect life. But at the end of the day, I was trying to create a fake reality. I had spent so long being isolated that all I cared about was having people around me, to the point where I didn't care if there wasn't support around me or just real friends. Then I began to realize that I was just like everyone's therapist. I knew about everyone's life, but they just didn't seem to care about mine. This does not go for all of my friendships there. I have some really good friendships there that I still talk to them and I love them with my whole heart. It's not them, it's probably me. That's what I would tell myself, because I didn't want to accept the fact that the care was not mutual. And that does not mean that they are bad people. That just means that the friendship wasn't meant to be. When I moved here, I realized that the dozens of friendships I had were not real friends at all. Now I don't talk to those people. I only talk to a few people that are actually good friends that actually do care. But all the other ones were really just there for the whole party and for the whole like, oh, let's go out. But it wasn't like a real friendship where you can say like, I feel like myself around this person. I'm not trying to say they're bad people, because they're seriously not. They have their own friendships. I have my own friendships. It just meant that the care wasn't mutual. I was actually so scared. I was like, no, I'm moving. Like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. Like, what about all my friends? The distance wasn't ruining my friendships. It was literally revealing it. It was literally telling me these are your friends and these aren't your friends. I think that many of them genuinely cared for me, but then I realized that there's a difference between someone needing you and knowing you. I felt needed and I never really felt known. If you have any doubts in your friendship and you think that it's one sided and you're the only one who's keeping the friendship alive, don't ask yourself, oh, who texts first? Me and my best friend talk a lot, but she's always the one who texts first. I'm gonna be honest, she is. I mean, I text first every now and then, but most of the time it's her texting first. That does not mean I don't care for her. I am just not that type of person. But I know that if one day she tells me, Isa, I need you, or Isa, I don't feel good, I'm there. I'm there. And every single time she texts me, I always respond. And I'm not just texting back to text back, I'm texting to actually engage in the conversation. So instead of asking, oh, who texts first, just ask who is carrying the emotional weight of the relationship. Who is there for one another? Are we both there, or is it just me? Or is it just them? When you ask yourself this question, don't try to keep score. Don't try to just make little strikes and say, oh, but this happened 2 months ago, and then this happened 3 months ago, and this happened 2 weeks ago. So, you know what? Three strikes and you're out. The point of asking yourself this question is knowing whether both people feel cared for or not. Signs may be that you're always the one who's remembering important things. For example, let's say it's your birthday and your supposed best friend does not say happy birthday to you. Like, at all. You know, your best friend is the type of person to remember everything. What do you mean she's not gonna remember your birthday? Maybe you're always making sure the friendship survives. You were the only one who's carrying this weight. You text something like that's like super exciting, super cool, that you would expect like a exciting, enthusiastic answer to. But if you know that the way that your friend is responding is not to actually respond and is just to, oh, like just to get out of it, just to get out of it, like, and I'm not just saying in text, I'm saying in real life as well. Maybe you are telling them like something crazy happened to you and it is a pattern, not that it just happens one time, but you just know that every single time that you say something to this person, they just don't seem to care. Maybe every single time you're the one who's going and adjusting for this person, you are living the life of this person just so you can be in it. Or maybe you're the one who's always giving. You try everything in your power to make this person feel loved, but they're not doing anything to make you feel loved. Maybe it just feels like you're doing so much and you just don't feel equally cared for. Knowing whether you're in a one sided friendship or not is not based off of everything that has happened, it's just a feeling. Like, I feel like you're just gonna know when it's one sided. Like, if you're asking yourself and you're like, damn, like it's one sided because it's like a feeling, or it's just something that you feel when you feel like the friendship is just not working out. It's just outgrown itself, or it's just not what you expected it to be. And it's okay. It is okay. Friendships can outgrow each other. Some people go off in their separate paths. Everything happens for a reason. If this person wasn't meant to be in your life forever, it is for a reason. Maybe God heard a conversation that you didn't. Maybe you guys have just outgrown each other. And there's no bad blood, no hard feelings. Not that anyone said something about the other person. Not that drama has to occur for it. But maybe you guys are just going off in different paths. In friendships like these, you probably feel emotionally drained. I cannot imagine myself talking to my best friends and feeling like, oh, I don't want to talk to them. Oh my God, I feel so drained. Oh, get me out of this conversation. Oh, get me out of here. I've never had that with my best friends before. If I'm with my friends or if I'm just talking to them, it's like nothing. It's like nothing. I don't feel forced. It doesn't feel like I'm not being myself. When you feel emotionally drained in the friendship, it's because you're pouring into someone else's cup and yours is staying empty. I am such a strong believer in this that you cannot love anyone else until you love yourself. You seriously cannot. You cannot take shortcuts in life. There are no shortcuts to life, and it sucks, but it's true. You cannot jump from here to here. You need to go through all of this to get there. So, all of this is you loving yourself. You can't jump from hating yourself to loving other people, because how are you supposed to love anyone else if you can't love yourself? You're so focused on keeping the friendship with them alive that you are not keeping the friendship with yourself alive, and that is what matters most. Maybe they mostly come to you when they need something. Maybe it's always advice, comfort, homework, work. They never ask, how are you? How are you truly feeling? And when you feel sad, when you feel like you need someone to vent out to, that you need advice or comfort or whatever it is, you don't feel like you can actually go to them and say, I don't feel good right now. That is one of like the biggest signs that made me realize that most of my friendships were built based off of nothing and were just built on parties and going out, because I realized if I feel bad, who am I going to run to? And that is why I felt so lonely most of my life. That is why from when I moved to DR to still now sometimes I get the feeling sometimes. I mean, now not as much, but even when I moved back here, I felt the same thing. And I had people around me. I have friends. I do. I felt so lonely. Having so many friends going out every weekend, I felt so lonely. Why? And I was like, why do I feel so lonely? Why do I feel like I don't have nobody if everyone is spamming my phone right now telling me to go out? And that's because, oh, okay. When I feel sad, who am I going to go to? I'm not gonna go to any of those people. Any of those people that I go out with, I'm not going to any of them. I don't feel comfortable. I feel like I couldn't go to any of those people. And then it took me realizing, okay, because they're not real friends. And if I'm gonna go to someone, it has to be to the real friends, the ones who are actually there for me, not the ones who are just there for when it's convenient for themselves. Maybe you also feel like you are always trying to earn your place in their life. Maybe you feel like you have to overgive, to overthink, be someone you're not, just so they can notice you. That is not what we do here. We do not chase anybody. A man, a friend, anyone. We don't chase, we attract. Yeah. So stop trying to prove that you're worth keeping around. The people who are actually meant to be in your life will love you for who you are and not for who you are trying to become. Don't try to prove yourself to anyone. You shouldn't. Be yourself. Be like, okay, this is me. And if all of these people here are going to leave my life because they don't want to accept that this is me, then they can leave. When I did that, when I stopped pretending, because I'll be honest, I was pretending for a while. I was like, like, oh, I love this. I'm this type of person. Like, everyone, please, like, focus on me. And I realized, I was like, this is not me. So when I finally showed everyone that, okay, this is my true self, and if you want to leave, you can leave, I lost so many quote unquote friends. The people that stayed are actually my true friends, the ones who are actually there for me for when I need it. There is such a big difference between feeling loved and feeling useful. Sometimes we are so busy on being the reliable friend that we don't realize we've become the convenient friend. Another thing is that social media has ruined everyone's perspective on everything. I believe it because I it has ruined my perspective. But it's confused what a friendship looks like. We've started believing, "Oh, no birthday post, no like, no comment, no repost. Oh, you're a bad friend. You're fake and I don't like you anymore." And you're jealous. That is not what being a friend is. Social media is to show people the good side. It is not to show people the real side. Real friendships usually happen in private. Have you ever scrolled on Instagram, looked at people's stories, and you see a friend group of a bunch of girls and they look like they're having the happiest time of their life? And then when you actually look at them, you're like, wait, all of them hate each other. That is because a lot of real friendships happen in private. Of course, I'm not saying that the moment you post your friends, they're fake. That's not true at all. Like, I post my friends and I love them. But acknowledging someone online does not make them a real friend. It is based off if they answer the phone. And I would rather have a real friend who answers the phone when I need them to than 20 birthday posts that disappear in 24 hours. And a friendship won't be 50-50 every day. There are phases in friendships. Life happens. Maybe one season, one friend just doesn't have the energy to contribute as much. Maybe the next season, both of them do. Maybe the season after that, the other friend doesn't have it. And it's not about 50-50. Sometimes it's 60-40. Sometimes it's 70-30. Sometimes it's 80-20. Sometimes it's 90-10. And that is healthy. The problem comes in when it is always the same person carrying the friendship. So now you might be asking, okay, Isa, you just told me everything about a one-sided friendship, but what do I do? Don't immediately assume that they don't care. You should communicate. Communication fixes everything and it always shows everyone's true intentions. Some people genuinely don't realize that you think they are not being a good friend. If you are constantly overextending yourself, maybe just take one step back. And it's not to test them. It's not to play games. It is just to give the friendship room to show its natural rhythm, to just show how everything flows naturally. Pay attention not just to what they say, but how they respond in moments of need. Learn the difference between being supportive and being someone's emotional support system. Not every friendship is meant to last forever. Some people are here for one season, some stay for many more, but that doesn't mean the friendship wasn't real. Sometimes you've simply grown in different directions, and it is okay. It is perfectly fine. I truly believe that God removes people before we begin to understand why. Outgrowing a friendship doesn't erase the memories. Wanting mutual care does not make you needy, and having emotional needs does not make you difficult. You deserve friendships where you don't feel like you constantly have to earn your place in order to be noticed. The right people won't make you question whether you matter or not. They will be there and they will show you. So everyone talks about the bare minimum in relationships, but we don't apply them to friendships. If you wouldn't accept the bare minimum from someone you're dating, why would you accept it from someone who is your so-called friend? So before we end this podcast, I want to leave you with one question. And no, it's not who texts first, who initiates conversations, who posts each other on Instagram. It's not about that. When I think about this friendship, do I consistently feel valued and respected and cared for? Because healthy friendships are not based on constant communication. They're measured by whether, when you do connect, that you leave feeling loved. You are not being needy for wanting mutual care in a friendship. You are not too much. You are not a bad friend. They are not bad friends. The friendship might just not be in God's plan. And it is okay. And if you ever feel lonely, I want you to know that you are not alone at all. Okay? I am your friend. Maybe you don't like me, but I am your friend. And I'm going to listen to every single voice, every soul that has something to say, because I believe that every single story matters and nobody should be in this world feeling like they are not respected, not cared for, and not listened to. Anyway, my loves, that is all for today's episode. I really hope you enjoyed it and I really hope that you learned a thing or two. If you would like to share your voice, if you agree with something I said, if you disagree, whatever it is, write it in the comment section, because remember that we're all learning together. I am learning myself as well. There are some things that I still do not understand about life yet, and maybe you can help me out with that as well. So comment, shoot a DM, whatever it is. Or if you know someone that can use this video, send it to them as well. Thank you so much for listening, and I will see you guys in the next episode. Bye!